You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, so I had to start with that clip for obvious reasons. This is about the narcissist or toxic person in your life not being able to handle the truth. They can't. They just cannot handle the truth because their egos are so fragile. Now, I know that seems like the opposite because you think, well, this person is so arrogant and always spouting off about how amazing they are or all their achievements and how much smarter they are than everybody else. I have heard all those stories. Another interesting thing, too, that I've noticed is they like to embellish stories to make them seem even more heroic. And even if it's not about being a hero, they'll embellish a story to make you feel sorry for them. I mean, it goes the other way too, where they're this huge victim of a huge injustice, and how all these people took advantage of them or diminished them or tried to bring them down. I remember talking to somebody, I guess a few months ago now, and he really completely distorted a story of how he was being reprimanded by certain people he was working for. He was actually volunteering for them, and he was stepping out of line. And so they had to pull him in and talk to him about where he was stepping out of line. Now, the funny thing is, this was not just with a man. The same thing happened with a woman that I had met. Again, not too long ago. And she was telling me the exact same story, how she was being reprimanded so unfairly and so harshly. Same thing with him. It was like they were telling the identical story. Now, I go back, and not that I'm trying to get the full story, but it comes to me, and I hear the other side. Because I heard, okay, one side of the story, I heard the narcissist side of the story, and for a while, I commiserated with the narcissist. I sympathized, maybe not commiserate. I sympathized with them. I felt like, wow, you know what? I'd been treated that way once before, or, someone was harsh with me. I can understand. And you get to be like that. And they bring you into their sob story, and they get you to turn against whoever, what they feel was being unfair with them or being harsh with them or whatever. So I did that. I thought, oh, well, yeah, I guess that person could have said it differently to you, should have used a different tone, shouldn't have approached you that way. Yeah, you were ganged up on because there were two people talking to you instead of just one, whatever it is. And then come to find out in this story with the guy, these two people who are talking to him actually were trying to be as gentle as they could, but they just were not getting through to him. They used examples from their own life, from when they messed up, so that he wouldn't feel like they're just targeting him and they couldn't understand why he could make such a mistake. They wanted him to understand that they make mistakes too. And this is how they were able to get over it once it was brought out to the light, once they were able to admit, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have done that, and then just change their ways, and how the whole group came around and reaccepted them, and they were fine. To this day, they have great relationships in this organization, and it worked out. Well, he never told me that part of the conversation. The only part I ever heard was how demoralizing they were, how critical they were, how harsh they were, how jealous they were behaving, certain things that they brought up about him that seemed, incongruent to the situation. Like, why would they bring up, his finances, for instance, when it has to do with some personal issue? But anyway, it just opened my eyes once I heard the other side of the story, that the narcissist could not accept the truth about himself, could not accept that other people saw this major flaw, this major thing he was doing in the organization, which was undermining the organization. It was hurting people inside the organization. So that's why they stepped in to say, look, you cannot treat people this way. You have to step back, or you have to, not, I don't want to get into details because I don't want to get too specific and, identify the person. But they have tried to stop him from behaving badly. Same thing with the woman. She did something that offended other people, and she was being very harsh with clients coming in, if you will, and people who were coming in. And so the organizers had to step in and tell her, don't speak to the clients like this. Don't behave like this. You cannot, shout at them. You can't, even though she thought it was funny that, some people are sarcastic, and I get it. But sarcasm is not well received when it comes out harshly, and especially towards young people who don't understand your sarcasm. They don't understand you're being sarcastic. They think you're being honest or real with them, and they think that you're putting them down. They don't realize you're exaggerating to make a point, all right? So anyway, they had to talk to her about her sarcasm, and that it had to be toned down a bit. Well, she quit. She didn't want to volunteer anymore. She didn't want to deal with these people anymore. She started cutting people out. She did all the things, and he did too, that toxic people or narcissists tend to do. And that is, first of all, they changed the story to make it sound like they were mistreated. Then they try to make you feel, turn you against the other people or whoever's willing to listen. And actually, these two started calling up other volunteers, calling up other people who were in this organization, anybody who was willing to listen to their side of the story, and only their side of the story. They wanted people to hear only their side. They wanted people to sympathize with them and convict the organization or the people who spoke with them. Anyway, it's so unfortunate, because had these two taken to heart the constructive criticism that they got, the people that I'm kind of familiar with who spoke to them, I can see them trying to help. I can see them, especially the one who told a very embarrassing story about herself, trying to commiserate and trying to help the person they're speaking to understand that she too had been caught in a very embarrassing situation, and even shared how embarrassing it was. He didn't care. He had no sympathy for that. He didn't see the light at the other end of the tunnel, where she came out of it, apologized for her mistakes, or changed her ways, and was reaccepted into the group, was reaccepted back into the organization, and now is doing well. But if he had taken the constructive criticism to heart, had listened to the truth about himself, he would have avoided months and months of turmoil, of pain, of continued failed relationships. And not just him, but other people who got caught in his tornado would have been spared a lot of pain and a lot of hardship, and spared of a failed relationship with him. And that's what happens with narcissists when they get criticized. They feel such a huge injury to their ego that they will grab onto anybody, the weakest person, the weakest link, and build a relationship with them, and and it seems like this is bizarre, but they will love bomb during that time. They will go on and on about how amazing you are, how great you are, how smart you are, how much they value your opinion. They build you up because they want you on their side. In this case, also with guys who are dating girls or girls dating guys, they will pull the opposite sex in to be their partner, and a strong partner at that, especially if you're romantically involved. Now they've got you. You are, you're in, with both feet. So they will use that to just get you to be on their side. And that's such a horrible way and a horrible reason to start a relationship. Now, of course, the supply provides other things, especially if it's a sexual relationship. They'll provide that as well as the confirmation or affirmation that the narcissist needs. But if the narcissist would just listen, the world is not out to get them. Especially if they're making friends and these friends are trying to speak life and speak truth into them. Listen. And this is more of a teaching to the rest of us because, it is hard to take criticism. It is hard to hear somebody's disapproval of you. But if you stop for a minute, and our instinct, even if you're not a narcissist, is to fight back. Our instinct is to defend ourselves and fight back. If you stop for a moment and just ask yourself, could this be true? Am I like this? Even if I'm not like this all the time, am I like this a little bit of the time? Could I change? Could I improve? Could there be some truth to this? And what can I learn from this? And if you can do that, if you can question yourself, question and entertain the idea that maybe there is room for improvement here, you're going to be such an amazing person. I mean, if you do this all of your life, and I think successful people do, I think happy people do, they, successful as in successful in social relationships, they know how to treat other people because they know where their failings are. They know what they need to improve. They know how to be kind or sensitive or, I shouldn't. We learn from our mistakes. And if you can do that, you will come out so much farther ahead than a lot of people. So that's my hope for you. And if this video is helpful to you and it helps you to see the truth and be able to handle the truth, you are going to be amazing. Your life is going to be amazing. You're going to turn all kinds of bad things that have been happening in your life, you're going to turn that around. And you're going to start to see good things happening. It's because this change is happening in you. So YouTube family, I hope that this video has been helpful. And if it has been, please subscribe. Please like it or comment below. And I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you build something incredible today in your life, whether it's in your heart or with people or in your home. I hope that you find peace and wholeness.